Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you went in there? Or struggled to recall the name of that actor you used to love watching in your 20s? If you nodded just now, you're definitely not alone. These little lapses might make you feel like your brain isn't quite as sharp as it used to be, but here's the good news. Your brain is still incredibly powerful, and it wants to keep growing. Yes, even after 60. In fact, especially after 60. You see, there's a myth floating around that once we hit a certain age, we just sort of stop learning. Like our best thinking days are behind us, and now it's just about keeping things from getting worse. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The brain is like a muscle, it needs exercise, stimulation, challenge. And when we give it those things, it rewards us with clearer thinking, better memory, and even more joy in everyday life. That's what lifelong learning is all about. It's not about going back to school or passing exams. It's about keeping your mind active, engaged, curious. And science has shown over and over again that people who keep learning new things into their 60s, 70s, and beyond have better brain health, fewer memory problems, and a stronger sense of purpose. Now I know what you might be thinking. Isn't it too late for me to start something new? Let me assure you, it's never too late. Lifelong learning doesn't mean signing up for university classes unless you want to, of course. It can be as simple as picking up a new hobby, trying a different routine. Joyful ways you can jumpstart your brain after 60. Not with pressure or stress, but with a sense of fun and curiosity. Think of it as giving your mind a little spark. And you ask questions about everything. Why the sky is blue, how planes fly, what's on the other side of the world. Somewhere along the way, life got busy. Responsibilities took over. And slowly, we stopped asking those questions not because we stopped caring, but because we thought we had to just get through the day. But curiosity didn't disappear. It's still there. And reigniting it is one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain. You don't need to become an expert in anything, you just need to follow what sparks your interest. Maybe it's learning about gardening techniques you never tried before, or exploring the history of your family tree, or finally understanding how that remote control actually works. Every time you learn something new, your brain makes fresh connections, literally rewiring itself. And that rewiring? That's what keeps your memory sharp and your thinking fast. So the next time you hear a word you don't recognize or see a news story that puzzles you, don't just brush it off. Ask, look it up, talk about it. Your brain will thank you. Now let's talk about reading, not just glancing through headlines, but actually sitting down with a book, a magazine, even a long article. Reading is one of the best workouts for your brain because it does more than just pass the time. It invites you into new worlds. It teaches you new vocabulary. It helps you focus, imagine, analyze. And yes, it can even reduce stress and help you sleep better. You don't have to read War and Peace or dive into complex science books unless that's your thing. Choose something that delights you. A cozy mystery, a cookbook, a biography of someone you admire. When you read, your brain becomes more agile, your memory improves, and your imagination wakes up. And if you struggle with reading due to vision or focus, audiobooks are a wonderful alternative. You can listen while walking, cooking, or relaxing in your favorite chair. Here's a little tip. If it's been a while since you read something from start to finish, don't be hard on yourself. Start small. A few pages a day is enough to stir the brain back into motion. You might be surprised at how quickly you start looking forward to those quiet moments with a book. As we go deeper into these ideas, keep this in mind. The goal isn't perfection. It's progress. You're not here to prove anything to anyone. You're here to stay curious, stay joyful, and keep giving your brain the nourishment it needs to thrive. So far, we've talked about reconnecting with your curiosity and the magic of reading. These are gentle, meaningful ways to invite lifelong learning back into your life. But they're just the beginning. The more you explore, the more energized and alive you'll feel, not just mentally, but emotionally too. Let's keep this going. And as your curiosity begins to stretch its legs again, There's something else that makes your brain light up like a morning sunrise. It's learning a new skill. Now before you shake your head and say, "Oh no, I'm too old for all that," let me stop you right there. Because learning a new skill doesn't mean becoming a master at something. It just means trying something new, giving your brain a challenge. Or trying to bake a new kind of bread, or playing around with that dusty old guitar in the corner. Do you remember how your mind felt a little more awake? That's your brain making new pathways, stretching, growing, sparking in places that haven't lit up in years. The beauty of learning something new after 60 is that you get to do it entirely on your terms. No deadlines, no pressure, just you and your own pace. Maybe it's watercolor painting. Maybe it's learning to speak a few words in Italian before that dream trip to Tuscany. Or maybe it's finally understanding how to take better pictures on your phone so you can capture those sweet family moments. The point isn't what you learn, it's that you're choosing to stay engaged, to stay curious, to keep moving forward. And if you stumble, so what? That's part of it. In fact, making mistakes while learning is one of the healthiest things you can do for your brain. That laughter is good for your brain too. Now, here's a twist you might not expect. It's like giving your brain a turbo boost. You don't need a classroom or a chalkboard. Think about helping a friend figure out a crossword clue, or showing your neighbor how to prune a rose bush. Maybe you're helping your grandchild write a story or passing on a family recipe to your daughter. When you teach, even informally, you're reinforcing knowledge in your own brain. You're organizing thoughts, finding words, solving small puzzles in real time. It keeps your thinking clear, your communication sharp, and your confidence blooming. And beyond that, it creates connection, emotional warmth, a sense that you still have something meaningful to offer, because you absolutely do. Sometimes, people over 60 worry that the world is moving too fast, that everything is digital and complicated, and that maybe they've been left behind. But here's the truth. What you've learned over the years, your life wisdom, your patience, your stories, they matter now more than ever. And when you pass them on, in big or small ways, you remind yourself and others that age is not about decline. It's about deepening. So maybe the next time you learn something new, a recipe, a song, a phrase in another language, share it. Call someone up and say, "Hey, want to hear something interesting I just learned today?" That simple act turns a private moment of growth into something bigger, something richer. And speaking of sharing, have you ever tried joining a group where people are learning together? It could be a book club, a gardening group, a gentle Tai Chi class, even a local storytelling circle. Learning with others adds a layer of joy that solo study sometimes can't give. It's the laughter between lessons, the shared aha moments, the friendships that form when people grow together. And if getting out isn't easy for you, there are wonderful online communities too, places where you can learn at your own pace, ask questions without judgment, and meet people from all over the world. Lifelong learning has gone global, and it's never been more accessible. You don't need to be tech savvy, you just need to take one small step at a time. And if you get stuck, well, that's what Google and grandkids are for. The beautiful thing about learning in later life is that it's no longer about climbing a ladder or building a resume. It's about joy. It's about keeping your days full of color, keeping your heart and mind open, and proving to yourself that there's still so much to discover. Because here's something worth remembering. Your brain doesn't care how old you are. It just wants to be used, loved, challenged, cared for. And every time you say yes to learning something new, even in the smallest way, you're telling your brain, "I'm still here. I'm still growing. I'm not done yet." So whether you're picking up a paintbrush, joining a group, or just asking more questions each day, you're doing something powerful not just for your brain, but for your spirit. Let's keep going. And the journey doesn't stop there. Because once you've stirred up that curiosity, tried something new, maybe even shared a bit of what you've learned, it's time to take it even one step further. There's a kind of learning that doesn't just spark your mind, it wraps your heart in something beautiful too. It's the kind of learning that connects you deeply with who you are. And that's creative expression. Now, I know not everyone thinks of themselves as creative. Maybe you've said, "Oh, I can't draw," or "I've never been much of a writer." But creativity isn't about being perfect. It's about making anything that lets you express your thoughts, your memories, your imagination. It could be painting. It could be dancing in your kitchen. It could be writing down your life story, one memory at a time, even if no one else ever reads it. It could be singing a little tune you made up while walking the dog. When you create, you're not just passing the time, you're lighting up entire regions of your brain that are deeply connected to emotion, memory, and motor function. You're also giving your soul a voice, a space to breathe. And don't underestimate how healing that can be. After 60, we carry a lifetime of experiences. Some joyful, some painful. Letting those stories out through words, pictures, music, crafts, it gives you clarity, perspective, and sometimes even peace. So if you've ever dreamed of writing a poem, go ahead. If you've got a drawer full of fabric scraps, try making something from them. If you used to doodle while talking on the phone, maybe it's time to pick up that pencil again, this time on purpose. Creativity also helps with one of the biggest challenges people face later in life: loneliness. When you express yourself, you connect. People see a part of you they might have never noticed before. Whether it's sharing a photo you took, a card you made, or a short story based on your childhood, it invites conversation. Connection. It reminds you that what you feel and think matters. And if you're feeling a little lost, unsure of where to begin, try this. Ask yourself what used to make you lose track of time. What filled you with wonder, even for a moment? That's usually where your creativity is hiding, waiting patiently for you to come back. Now, everything we've talked about: curiosity, learning something new, teaching others, creativity, it all comes down to one core idea: choosing to stay engaged, choosing to lean into life. Even when things slow down, even when your body aches more than it used to, even when routines feel repetitive or the days feel quiet. Because the truth is, the brain thrives on engagement. It craves variety. It wakes up when you give it something to chew on, whether that's a new idea, a new movement, or even a new conversation. And guess what? When your brain is active, you feel better. You think more clearly. You sleep more soundly. When was the last time you felt truly excited to learn something? When was the last time you surprised yourself? If it's been a while, that's okay. Life has a way of pulling us into patterns. But the beauty of this chapter in your life is that you get to rewrite the story. You have the freedom to explore without judgment, to stumble without consequence, to grow without pressure. And if all of this still feels a little overwhelming, start small. One new word a day, one short article, one song you've never heard before, one question you've never asked. The tiniest spark can light the biggest flame. Now take a breath. Feel that. That's your mind opening a little wider. That's your spirit standing up a little taller. That's the reminder you might have needed today, that you are capable of growth, of joy, of clarity. Still, always. And here's something else, something maybe no one says often enough. You are not behind. You haven't missed your moment. Your brain didn't expire at 65. You're not too late for anything. In fact, this might be the perfect time for you. Because now, you're learning not just with your mind, but with the richness of your experience, the depth of your story, the grace you've earned. So keep learning, keep asking, keep stretching those mental muscles, gently, joyfully. And know this: every time you take even the smallest step toward lifelong learning, you're doing something extraordinary for your brain. I want you to pause for just a moment and look back, not just at this conversation, but at your life. Think about how much you've already learned. The lessons, the changes, the triumphs. Choosing to nurture that incredible gift. That, right there, is the real victory. What we've been talking about isn't about school or textbooks. It's about living with eyes wide open. It's about staying mentally alive, even when the world tells you to slow down or sit still. It's about honoring the fact that your wonderful, capable mind still has dreams. still wants to stretch, still has more to give. That's what lifelong learning really means. Whether you're following a thread of curiosity, picking up a new skill, teaching what you know, or creating just for the joy of it, every one of those steps sends a message to your brain. I'm still in the game. I still care. I'm still becoming. And that mindset, it spills over into everything. When your brain is active and engaged, your days feel richer. You're more alert when you wake up, more grounded when you face a challenge, and more content when the day winds down. It doesn't mean life becomes perfect, but it does mean your inner world stays vibrant, no matter what's going on outside. And you know what else happens? You inspire others, whether it's your partner, your children, your friends, your neighbors. They see you choosing to grow, choosing to live fully. And they remember, maybe for the first time in a while, that age isn't a wall. It's a door, a threshold into something deeper, more thoughtful, more connected. So the next time someone says, "You're doing that at your age," smile and say, "Absolutely." Because you are not here to play small. You are here to thrive. There's this idea that after retirement, we're supposed to just rest. And yes, rest matters. But resting doesn't mean giving up. And if you ever doubt whether you have it in you, if you ever think, "I'm too forgetful," or "I can't keep up," or "I'll embarrass myself," I want you to hear me clearly. Every single person, at every age, has the ability to learn. Your brain may move a little slower now. That's natural, but it is still brilliantly wired to absorb, adapt, and renew itself. It's not about speed. Read something new. Watch a video about something you've always wondered about. Scribble a few lines in a notebook. Join a community class. Download an app that teaches you a language in tiny doses. Whatever makes you feel awake, interested, connected, start there. Let this next season of life be filled not with hesitation, but with curiosity. Not with retreat, but with rediscovery. You've earned the right to enjoy your mind, to stretch it, to explore, to light it up with wonder again. And if this video has given you a little nudge in that direction, I'm so glad. Or what's something you've always wanted to try but haven't yet? Share it in the comments. I read them, and I cheer for every step you take. And if this message spoke to you, please give it a like so it reaches more wonderful minds like yours. Subscribe for more gentle guidance and uplifting conversations just like this one, because this journey doesn't end here.